USPAP, page 158, Advisory Opinion 31 continued. An individual appraiser employed by a group or organization that conducts itself in a manner that does not conform to these standards should take steps that are appropriate under the circumstances to ensure compliance with the standards. Acknowledging significant appraisal assistance. Number 5. Matthew, an appraiser, is working with a more senior appraiser on a complex appraisal assignment. His only task has been to develop the income approach based on information provided by the senior appraiser. What is the appropriate way to acknowledge Matthew's role in the assignment? Answer: since Matthew's work is limited to part of the assignment, signing a certification accepting responsibility for the entire assignment would not be appropriate. USPAP requires that Matthew be named in the certification, and the nature of his significant assistance be reported. Number 6, Margaret is performing a specific portion of a complex appraisal assignment, but is not competent to complete the entire assignment. As part of her training, she read the report and discussed it with the senior appraiser. Having now expanded her knowledge of the assignment, she wants to sign the certification along with the senior appraiser on the project. Is this appropriate? Answer: no. By signing the certification, she would be accepting full responsibility for all elements of the certification, for the assignment results, and for the contents of the appraisal report. Although she was competent to perform her assigned task, reading the report and discussing it with the senior appraiser does not confer competence. Therefore, she cannot accept full responsibility for the assignment results or sign the certification. Number 7, I am an appraiser trainee in a large firm. We recently transmitted a report to a client for an appraisal in which I provided significant professional assistance. The report stated that I assisted in all aspects of the process, and I was named in the certification. The client's reviewer sent me a request that said, if you assisted in all aspects of the appraisal, you should sign it because you are an appraiser. The principal appraiser who signed the report feels it looks better if only he signs because I am unlicensed. For this assignment, there is no law or regulation that prohibits me from signing the certification. What should I do? Answer: the unlicensed appraiser should discuss the situation with the principal appraiser. In this instance, as USPAP allows for certification in a variety of ways. The principal appraiser elected to acknowledge the significant professional assistance of the appraiser trainee in the certification rather than allowing her to sign. The exact nature of the assistance must also be reported, but it does not have to be stated in the certification. The specific portions of the assignment that the appraiser trainee completed should have been summarized in the report rather than just a statement simply indicating the appraiser trainee assisted in all aspects of the assignment. Page 159. Advisory Opinion 32. AO-32. This communication by the Appraisal Standards Board, ASB, does not establish new standards or interpret existing standards. Advisory opinions are issued to illustrate the applicability of appraisal standards in specific situations and to offer advice from the ASB for the resolution of appraisal issues and problems. Subject: ad valorem property tax appraisal and mass appraisal assignments. Application: real property, personal property. The issue: ad valorem is Latin for according to value. In ad valorem taxation assignments, the appraisal or mass appraisal is used to establish a value basis for a political subdivision's tax burden. This guidance is provided to address the application of USPAP to appraisal and mass appraisal assignments for ad valorem taxation. As used in this advisory opinion, appraisal assignments are those covered by Standards 1 and 2, or Standards 7 and 8. Mass appraisal assignments are those covered by Standards 5 and 6. Advice from the ASB on this issue. Application of standards. Ad valorem taxation assignments include both appraisal assignments and mass appraisal assignments. Standards 1 and 2 address the requirements for development of an appraisal and reporting of appraisal results for a particular real property interest as of a given date. Standards 5 and 6 address the requirements for the development of a mass appraisal and reporting of mass appraisal results for real property and personal property. Mass appraisal is the valuation of a universe of properties, which means many properties, as of a given date using standard methodology, employing common data, and allowing for statistical testing. Mass appraisal provides for a systematic approach and uniform application of appraisal methods and techniques to obtain estimates of values that allow for statistical review and analysis of results. Standards 7 and 8 address the requirements for development of an appraisal and reporting of appraisal results for a particular personal property interest as of a given date. The keys to distinguishing a mass appraisal are: number 1, the subject of the appraisal is a universe of properties, meaning more than one property. And number 2, the assignment involves standard methodology employing common data that allows for statistical testing. These models may be based on the cost approach, the income approach, the sales comparison approach, or any combination of these approaches to value. Identification of intended users. In ad valorem taxation assignments, the client is typically the government or taxing authority that engages the appraiser. As defined in USPAP, the client is an intended user. Through communication with the client, the appraiser may identify other intended users. A party receiving a copy of a report in order to satisfy disclosure requirements does not become an intended user of the appraisal or mass appraisal unless the appraiser identifies such party as an intended user. Scope of work. The determination of an appropriate scope of work in all appraisal and mass appraisal assignments, including ad valorem taxation assignments, is based on problem identification. The assignment elements necessary for problem identification are identified in Standards Rule 1-2, which is real property appraisal, Standards Rule 5-2, which is real property and personal property mass appraisal, and Standards Rule 7-2, which is personal property appraisal. This information provides the appraiser with the basis for determining the scope of work necessary to develop credible assignment results. In ad valorem taxation assignments, applicable laws and regulations of an assessing jurisdiction may define the assignment elements needed for problem identification. For example, the type and definition of value is usually established by statute, as is the effective date of the appraiser's opinions and conclusions, tax year, levy year, valuation date, etc. Whatever the source of the assignment elements needed for problem identification, the appraiser must identify the problem to be solved and determine and perform the scope of work necessary to develop credible assignment results.